In this video, we will go over some of the exciting new and improved tools available for Chem-Man's newest mapping update. These tools are available when creating new and editing existing locations. For our example, we will pretend to create some new locations. First, we'll go to Setup and then Manage Locations. Then we'll click on the button labeled Add Locations. Now you may notice some fields already showing on my map. We can choose whether to show these nearby locations or not. In the bottom left of the map, you will notice some buttons, each with a single letter. The button labeled as In is our Toggle Nearby Locations option. With this button, you can choose to show or hide nearby locations you have already created. You can edit how much information these nearby locations show in System Settings under the Map tab. The options are labeled Nearby Location Settings. You can choose if these nearby locations show with customer names, acres, crop names, or even the name of the location itself. The second button, labeled O, is to show or hide nearby obstructions you have created. We have greatly improved how easy it is to add and remove obstructions on your map, allowing you to create them on the fly if needed. When you right-click on your map, a new window will appear allowing you to add an obstruction. We have a few images that can be used for various obstructions or landmarks. You may also apply an optional text to the obstruction, which will appear on the map. As an example, I will create a windmill and apply the text windmill to the obstruction. Now you can see the obstruction and the note attached to it on the map, which you can hide or show with the obstructions button in the bottom left corner of the map. You can easily delete unneeded obstructions by left-clicking on it. This will pop up a delete button for that obstruction. You can click delete or click outside of the delete pop-up to cancel. The third button on the bottom left of the map is labeled D for Drift Watch. If you are set up to integrate with Drift Watch locations, you can use this button to toggle those locations on or off. They appear similar to how the nearby locations appear as shown on this map. Now let's go over our search functions. You can use the search bar in the upper left-hand corner to search for an exact address, a city and state, or the exact lat long of a location. After entering your search information and hitting enter, the search bar will drop down a menu with the locations that are a closest match to what you typed. You can click on any of the drop-down options to move to that location on your map. You can also search by state township region by clicking on the STR button under the search bar and then entering your information. The button under the STR button, which looks like an arrow in a target, is used to set a default location. This is very useful if you tend to create locations in a specific region. With this button, you can set a central location as default, so when creating locations in the future, your map will first open to that location, keeping you near the areas you typically service. While searching for your new field's location, you might notice that our new mapping has also improved the ability to zoom in and out. The new zoom by mouse wheel is much faster, and if your mouse does not have a mouse wheel, or if you need to zoom slower to properly draw your location, you can also hold down your shift key and use the plus and minus buttons at the bottom right of the map. We've also added the ability to zoom into a specific location on the map. While holding the shift key, you can left click with your mouse and draw a box. The map will zoom into that area. Next, we will go over some of the creation and edit tools for locations. To make it easier to see, we'll go ahead and click on the full screen button in the upper right hand corner of the map. The first button we'll discuss is the Map View button. It will look like multiple squares stacked on one another, located just under the full screen button in the upper right hand corner of your map. This button allows you to toggle between Satellite View and Map View. Satellite View will give you a more accurate view showing buildings and trees and other visible landmarks. Map View will give you a street map view showing streets and bodies of water. This gives less detail but also allows for faster loading times. Below the Map View button, you will see the FSA button. This button will toggle on FSA borders if they're available in your area, which you can then select to create locations. Due to a Privacy Act passed in 2008, these maps have only been updated to 2008, so some of them may not be accurate. Once you have finished selecting FSA locations, you just click on Save Selections in the upper right-hand corner, and it will create the polygons for those selected locations. Now we will get into our creating and editing tools. Below the FSA button, you will see 4 buttons starting with the Draw rectangle. This tool allows you to create basic rectangular locations for quick and easy creations. The second button is Create Polygon. This button allows you to create custom shaped locations. You can click points to draw out your location, and then once you are finished, you can click your first point again to close the shape. The third button allows you to draw circles for pivot fields. Currently, you can draw whole circles with this button, but in the near future, we will also have it set up to be able to draw partial and half pivots as well. Currently, to create a partial pivot, you will need to use the Edit button, which is our fourth button on the right-hand side, showing the image of a pencil. Clicking the Edit button will show the points of our recently created circle. Now we can remove points from the circle, changing its shape. As you'll see, I'll find the northernmost point and then move one point over and right-click the mouse to remove that point. You can continue doing this until you have your half circle. Alternatively, you can use the Draw Polygon to create your half circle, whichever one is easiest for you. Once you're done editing, you click the Edit button again to exit the edit mode. There are 3 buttons under our editing tools that are used on locations we have created. The Drag Layers button allows us to move our shapes around. This is useful if we draw our shape a bit off center. We can then drag it back into its proper place. The Cut Layers button is used if your field requires an exclusion. If you need to exclude a part of your location that isn't planted or doesn't need to be sprayed, you can click Cut Layers, select a point in your location, and draw a shape similar to drawing a polygon, finishing it by clicking on the first point. This will remove that section from the location you have drawn, like so. If you make a mistake drawing your exclusion, you can easily delete it and start over by clicking on the Edit tool, which shows as a pencil, locating the points around the exclusion that you have drawn, and right-clicking on any of those points. And this will remove the exclusion from the polygon. The third button has the shape of a trash can in it. This is our Delete button. You can click on this, select the polygon you wish to delete, and it should remove it from the map. Once you have finished deleting the shapes on the map, you just click the Delete button again to end the process. Thank you for watching our video on the new updates to our mapping tools. If you have any further questions, feel free to get in contact with the Chem-Man support team by calling 870-238-9222. Thank you.